Hey, what's up guys? My name is Red Skipper and today I'm going to be bringing you a Total War guide on how to be a better Total War player. And I made this guide with the help of some Total War YouTubers, and if you would like to check them out, I will have their links in the description. Now, I think a lot of people have some misconceptions on how to be a better Total War player, and I'm just here to give out my theories on how to be a better Total War player. Agree or disagree with me, that's your choice, but I'm just here to state my opinion and my theories. So my theory is based on a 5-step pyramid on how you're going to be a better Total War player, kind of like the hierarchy of needs. It just kind of builds on itself. So my guide is, again, comprised of 5 steps, and let's just dive right into it. So my first step on how to be a better Total War player is knowing your nations. And I think a lot of people will say, "Doy, Skip, this is really stupid. Why are we going over this? I already know my nations." And I will say to you, do you really know your nations? Do you know your nations? You truly know your nation's strength, know your nation's weaknesses, what you should not play them against, what you should play them with, all that stuff. And maybe that'll knock a bunch of people out on saying, yeah, maybe I don't really know my nations as well as I should to be a great Total War player. So, what I'm talking about, again, as I stated before, is knowing your nation's strengths, their weaknesses, what you should not play them against, what you should play them against, and you just kind of get that overall knowledge of that nation. And yeah, I guess that kind of sums it up. And I'm talking, you're going to go and spend a good couple hours and just kind of trial and error, just kind of playing around with the nations, see what they're good with, see what they're bad with, all that stuff. So, and I guess knowing the map and kind of studying the maps, knowing the maps, weak points, strong points, all that stuff, choke points, all the points on the map. And once you kind of have that overall general knowledge of the nations and the maps, then we can move on to more advanced stuff. Now this next step, step 2, maybe not super advanced, but again, is very, very, very important. And this does separate a lot of better players from the not so better players. And the better players know their nations, and they know their builds and how to build their armies according to their nations. So what I'm talking about here is once you know your nations, now you can go and start building your armies. And your armies are going to be essential because that's what you're going to fight the battle with. Now your armies are going to bring out your nation's strength. That's what you should be building your armies to the standard, or even going above and beyond what your nation can do, and at least to the fullest limit of what your nation can do. That's what your army should do. And that's what your builds are going to be trying to do. And this is going to take a lot of trial and error, a lot of seeing what works, doesn't works. And if you really want to know, I do have some builds on my channel for Napoleon Total War, but you could also go on some of the other guys' channels, like the Prussian Prince, Zarept, Achilles, Point Man, Gamer Dudester, and you can just kind of check out their videos and, just kind of see what they bring. And you don't have to bring their exact build, but that just kind of gives you a general idea on how to make your army to stand its best chance against an opponent. So, what we have so far is we have at the very bottom of the pyramid, if you can picture it, we have the knowing your nations, except in Shogun where you have your avatar system, so that doesn't really apply. And then for your builds, and then the second part is your builds and your armies and your units, and so that applies for all the Total War games from Shogun 1 to Rome 2. So I'd say those are pretty much the two very core steps in becoming a better Total War player. Now, the third step is kind of like a little hazy bit that kind of like jumps around in the order of things, I'd say. And I'd say it's knowing your opponent. And knowing your opponent is an extremely, extremely important part of Total War. But a lot of people don't know that it is, and I guess it doesn't really apply in lower level games, but it definitely applies in the upper level games for tournaments and stuff. So if you do get to that level, you're definitely going to want to pay attention to this step, because they are going your opponent is going to dictate the game. And if you're in a tournament game, if they have a YouTube channel, go check out their YouTube channel, see what they do, see what they're bad with, see what they're good with, and get an overall general of what your opponent might do in your game. And that'll just give you that little bit of an edge over top of your opponent. So that's just kind of like a little hazy part of it, but it's definitely very important. So again, we have your nations, then your builds, and then we have your opponent, knowing your opponent. And again, knowing your opponent is super important because they're going to dictate what you do in the game, what nation you're going to bring, what army you're going to bring, and overall how you're going to play that game. So your opponent is going to dictate all of that. So yeah, your opponent is a very important part of Total War. So moving on to step 4, and I think step 4 is what a lot of people think is the absolutely most important step, and that is what separates the pro Total War players from the random Total War players, and they think that this is the only step that matters, and that is micro. And for people who say, Skip, what is micro? I will say I'm going to give my friend Achilles' answer, and I think he has a much better definition of micro than I do. And that is, in micro, in his words, is how effectively you use your units and your army. So making how your formation is set up, how deep your line is, making sure that you're not firing into a ridge on Fots or Napoleon, making sure your units are hitting their target, as it were, making sure you get all your squares, making sure you're getting all your counter charges in. It's just how effectively you're using all your units in general. And I'd say that's a really good definition of micro, because it really is. As long as you're getting the most out of your units, if you're hitting all your squares, if you're hitting all your tramples, if you're hitting all your bonsais, if you're hitting all that stuff that really brings it all together. And but getting your micro better, it takes a lot of practice. And even I don't have the best micro, but I get away with it because I do know all the other steps. And it just does take a lot of practice, and I guess speed has a little bit a part of it, but it's not like super. It's not as important as how effectively you use your army. Fastness comes with kind of practice and all that stuff, and so it'll just come with time. So so again, we're going to review the pyramid as we always do. We're going to go from your bottom, you got your nations, except in Shogun 2, which are your avatar system, and then you have your builds, your units, and your armies, so all that stuff. And then we have the little hazy portion that kind of moves around in the list, your opponent. And then again, so for the fourth step, we have micro. So what does this all build up to the point of the pyramid? And I would say it's tactics. Now, tactics, in my words, is how you play the game, where you're sending your units, what units you're attacking with, when and where you're attacking. And a lot of people think that Total War is a game of ifs, and I'd say you're wrong. You're actually dead wrong, and it's a game of whens and wheres. Know what I'm saying? It's not if they're going to attack here, if they're going to defend here. It's when they're going to attack here, when they're going to defend there. And that's what great Total War players do. They know when to attack, where to attack, when to defend, where to defend. It's all those whens and wheres, and they know those down to the T. And this is very hard to get a hold to know. And this is exactly where all of your things come up to. Knowing your nation. Is your nation strong enough to take down that flank? Is your nation strong enough to hold that flank? Is your nation strong enough to push, to do anything like that? And then it goes to your builds. Is your build good enough, or is it suited for the type of battle that you're playing? Is it suited well enough that you can go ahead and push right into your enemy? Is it good enough, or is it suited for rushes, or is it suited for just kind of hanging back and supporting your team? That's where it goes from there. Your opponent, what your opponent is, where is he pushing? Where is he defending? What is he doing wrong? What weaknesses could you exploit out of your opponent? Your micro, how well you're hitting those squares, how well you're getting those extra trample charges in, how well you're countercharging. It's all building up to where and when you can press, where and when you can defend, where and when all these things are coming, and back to the first step, your maps, when you should attack that hill, when you should fall back off the hill, all that stuff. So again, all those 5 steps build up to how you're going to play that game. So we have just overall review of the entire pyramid again. At the bottom, your nations. Second tier, your builds. Third tier, your opponent. Fourth tier, your micro. And then what it all comes down to that point is your tactics and how you're going to play that game. So this is my theories, and if you agree with them, that's great. And I hope you guys do try them out and see if you have success with them, and let me know if you do, because I would really like to know, because this is what I think, and I've had success with it. And I'd say if you do follow these steps, you will have greater success against an opponent, even if they have more hours than you. And I'll just say that I think you'll have a much greater success in defeating them. So if you like the guide and you would like to see more, please comment, rate, and subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time. Thanks for watching.